Harrison Ford sat at the view table on a Wednesday morning that felt heavier than the mug he kept turning in his hands. He wore a faded brown jacket that looked like it had stories of its own, his eyes steady but too tired to pretend they wanted to be there. Whoopi introduced him with that careful warmth she used when she knew things could go sideways. She said, "Please welcome Harrison Ford, an icon, a pilot, an environmental activist, and sometimes, a man who's not afraid to tell us exactly what he thinks." Harrison nodded once, the corner of his mouth twitching like he almost wanted to smile. He said, "Good morning." Joy Behar leaned in, pen tapping against her notes like she was bracing for impact. She said, "Harrison, let's get right to it. You've spent the last decade telling people the world is ending. But you fly jets all over the place. Private jets. You see the problem, don't you?" Harrison's jaw flexed just once before he answered. He said, "I see the problem with people who'd rather mock the messenger than fix the mess." The audience let out a soft, "Ooh," that died in the lights. Joy laughed, but her eyes didn't. She said, "So you're the victim here? The millionaire movie star is the victim?" Harrison set the mug down, hands flat on the table. He said, "I'm not the victim. We all are if we don't wake up." Sarah Haynes jumped in, trying to pull it back. She said, "You've done a lot of good work, though. The conservation foundations, the reforestation projects. People respect that." Harrison nodded, but his eyes stayed locked on Joy. He said, "People respect honesty more than slogans." Joy's pen tapped harder now. She said, "Honesty? You make your living on fantasy. Indiana Jones, Star Wars. How do you stand up here and preach when you've spent your life selling adventure while ignoring the consequences?" A hush spread through the audience, the kind that means they're not sure which side they're on yet. Harrison's voice dropped, low and flat. He said, "The movies don't kill rainforests, Joy. Indifference does." Sunny Hostin leaned forward, voice measured. She said, "But you can see how some people feel it's hypocritical. The flights, the ranches, the big carbon footprint." Harrison cut her off, not with a shout, but with a sentence that landed like a door closing. He said, "You think I don't know that?" Joy didn't back down. She said, "Then why do it?" Harrison's eyes narrowed, the same look he used in movies when the line between the hero and the man was too thin to see. He said, "Because I'm not perfect. Neither are you. But you don't get to stand there doing nothing and act better than people trying to fix it." A clap. One, then a few more. But Joy raised her hand, and the room fell quiet. She said, "You know what your problem is, Harrison? You think we're all too stupid to see the contradictions. You're just another celebrity with a cause he doesn't live by." Harrison's hand tightened on the mug again. He said, "And you're just another voice shouting over people who actually do the work." Joy's voice rose, the edge cutting through the lights. She said, "At least I'm not selling guilt while burning jet fuel." The audience gasped. No laughter, no clapping, just the thud of that line landing in the space between them. Harrison's eyes didn't blink. He said, "You don't get to talk to me about selling anything. You sell outrage for ratings every morning." Joy leaned forward, pen clutched like a weapon she forgot she was holding. She said, "So now it's my fault? You're the one with the lectures and the jets and the ranch the size of a city." Harrison didn't blink. He said, "You think calling out hypocrisy means you're helping? It means you're covering your ears and pointing at everyone else." Whoopi tried to cut in, her voice the only one still soft. She said, "Let's not do this. Harrison, we all agree the climate is in crisis. The question is, what do we do now?" Harrison's jaw flexed once before he answered. He said, "You start by telling the truth, not tearing down the people who say it." Joy's voice snapped back, sharper than the studio lights. She said, "I'm tearing down the lies. You know how many people can't afford to care about carbon footprints when they're just trying to pay rent?" Harrison's eyes narrowed. He said, "And you know how many of those people lose everything first when the storms hit and the crops fail? Or do you just need someone to shout at?" A hush settled in the audience. The clap sign didn't light up, but no one would have used it anyway. Sunny leaned in, her tone softer, but the question landed heavy. She said, "But do you ever feel like you're not the right messenger? You've got the wealth, the means. People feel like you're talking down to them." Harrison exhaled through his nose, a sound that wasn't quite a laugh. He said, "You want a poor man to do this job? You think they have time? It takes money to fight money." Joy jumped back in before Sunny could answer. She said, "No, It takes honesty. And you can't stand here pretending you're the hero when your carbon footprint is bigger than this entire audience combined. Harrison's voice stayed low but turned to stone. He said, I never said I was the hero. I said I'm doing the work. You don't get to insult the work just because you don't like the messenger. The audience murmured, a low rumble that didn't pick a side, just rattled the table enough that Sarah Haynes tried to break the tension. She said, we all want the same thing, a better future. We just don't agree on the how. Harrison's eyes stayed on Joy. He said, no, Sarah. Some people want the fight, not the fix. Joy shot back, her voice too loud for the mic. She said, and some people want the applause without changing a damn thing about their lives. Harrison's chair scraped the floor as he pushed it back an inch, his hand still tight around the coffee mug. He said, you want me to apologize for not being perfect? You're going to wait a long time. Joy snapped. It's not about perfect, it's about real. Harrison stood. Not a lunge, not a scene. Just that quiet, deliberate stand that made the audience sit up straighter. Whoopi tried one last time, her voice tense but calm. She said, Harrison, you don't have to walk out. Sit down, finish your point. Harrison looked at her, then at Joy, the corner of his mouth twitching like a man who'd rather be flying a plane over a canyon than sitting under these lights. He said, I finished it. Joy's pen dropped to the table, the tap echoing like she wished she could grab the last word back. She said, so that's it? You come here to preach and run the second you get pushed back? Harrison didn't flinch. He said, I came here to talk about solutions. You wanted a target. Sunny leaned forward, voice almost gentle but edged with disbelief. She said, don't you think walking out just proves her point? Harrison's eyes flicked to her, then back to Joy. He said, the point is you can't have a real conversation when the only thing you want is to win an argument. The audience sat so still you could almost hear the cameras humming. One or two people started to clap, but it fell flat when they realized the moment wasn't built for noise. Joy crossed her arms, her voice sharp but quieter now. She said, you actors are all the same. You play heroes on screen, and you think it makes you one in real life. Harrison's jaw flexed, not rage, just that bone-deep weariness that comes from fighting the same fight too long. He said, you think we have time for your cheap shots while the world burns? Joy's eyes narrowed. She said, we have time for the truth. Harrison's mouth twitched, almost a smile, but not warm. He said, then try telling it sometime. He set the coffee mug down so softly the sound felt louder than her last line. The band didn't play him out. The stage lights didn't dim. Nobody held up the clap sign. Whoopi exhaled, her hand resting on the table like she might try to pull him back into the seat. She didn't. He looked at her, just her, and said, good luck. Then he turned, walking past the cameras, through the gap in the curtain that swallowed him without a single backward glance. No exit line. No fake grin. Just boots on the studio floor, leaving a hush behind that nobody on that stage could talk away. The next morning, the clip was everywhere. Some people called him a hypocrite for leaving. Others said he was right to stand up when shouting became the point. Harrison didn't issue a statement. He didn't spin it. He didn't say another word. He didn't have to. Sometimes the loudest truth is what you refuse to sit through.